Hello everyone, it is Rory here at that Eurovision site. We are back with another roundup of all of the chaos that's been going on in the Eurovision world within the last 7 days. There's been a lot, I can't deny, so yeah, let's get straight into it. So to kick us all off, we now have an official date for when the Czech song for Eurovision is going to be released, and that is the 7th of March. Adonis, who is singing Kiss Kiss Goodbye, he first debuted the song on the Multi-Eurovision Song Contest earlier this month, and he revealed in a sort of video sort of saying like, oh, look at how good this performance is. He revealed in a comment underneath that post that all streaming platforms will get the song in its entirety, studio version, on the 7th of March. So if you were a big fan of it when it was being performed, like the acoustic version, that's definitely one to mark in your calendar. And if you're also liking new Eurovision releases, then you will also want to put in the 25th of February as well, which is Tuesday, which is 2 days from now, as that's the time of recording, because Australia has said it will be releasing its Eurovision song at that time. This was revealed through the Eurovision account, and it was sort of saying that it will be released at 1900, so 7 p.m. On Tuesday, Central European time. We have no idea who will be representing Australia so far. It's been kept completely under wraps. We had heard that it had already been chosen and submissions were now being opened for next year's contest, although we don't know whether or not Australia will be participating yet. But it's interesting that they already are opening submissions for next year's show. So intriguing. But in terms for a song to have actually been released, we have our first proper internal selection to release their full studio version, and that is Azerbaijan with Mamagama. So they released their song Run With You on the 19th of February, which was Wednesday, and it's kind of like a weird kind of electronic synth pop with a bit of traditional instrumentation in there as well. Kind of liking as well with the inclusion of Taral Taran and Farid Ilkin as well, the last two artists to represent Azerbaijan as well. They will be competing in the first semi-final on the 13th of May. So if you are a big fan of that, again, you're going to be so thrilled to see them go up against some really big heavy hitters here. So, I mean, be prepared. So, and then everything comes to a huge crescendo in Italy on on Saturday. So to kick us all off, I mean, this time last week, we were talking about how Ollie had just won Sanremo and he had been offered the opportunity to go to Eurovision, and which he said he would be considering it. He hadn't made it a complete decision on whether or not he was going to be participating, mostly just because he needed to take some time to kind of just process the fact that he had just won. And yes, Rai gave him basically a deadline of a week in order to sort of make his decision. So come Saturday, he released a post on his social media which confirmed that he would not be participating at Eurovision, mostly due to the fact that he felt he wasn't ready and he was happy enough to just take enough of victory from his win at Sanremo, and he didn't need anything else from that. So Rai was already in contact with a number of the other participants in Sanremo this year, to which runner-up Lucio Corsi also was contacted, and he said he would happily do Eurovision. So within minutes of Ollie's Eurovision sort of refusal, Lucio Corsi was confirmed to be representing Italy at Eurovision 2025 with Volevo essere un duro. So yeah, so now we have an official confirmed Italian act for Eurovision 2025, which brings a nice little kind of bow to the end of this drama that's been going on in Italy. So yeah, fantastic news from there. And that was not the only Eurovision song that we got for Eurovision 2025 that on Saturday, because we had Iceland selecting their Eurovision act, and they chose the duo slash like band vibe with their song Roa. This was all through Songvakeppnin, which had been running for the last 3 weeks, and it all culminated in a thrilling kind of battle between Vibe and second place Stebby Jack. Stebby Jack eventually finished with 142 points and Vibe getting 167. This was also the first year in years that a super final was not used in Iceland. because traditionally they use super finals, and they just decided to get rid of that for this time around. So yeah, some very interesting changes that are being made in Iceland. But yeah, now we officially have our next Eurovision song. And now let's just get straight on to the vast number of other selections that were going on Saturday. The first one, obviously, being Melodifestivalen from Sweden. The fourth semi-final took place, and it should come as no surprise that Måns Zelmerlöw immediately qualified directly to the final with his song Revolution. He got through in the first round, so he didn't have to go through the second round. The second round, direct to final finalist was Kai with their kind of sauna Finnish song. And then Ella Tirintiello as well managed to qualify for the finalkval to give her one more chance at trying to make it through to the final on the 8th of March in Stockholm. So we have one more semi-final left to get through, and after that, then it's going to be all time for the final. So hopefully we're going to have a few other options kind of coming around. So yeah, I'm really intrigued to see how Sweden's going to go with this. And this was also not the only selection taking place, as Portugal's Festival de Canção officially kicked off last night with the first semi-final, and we had 6 qualifiers, 5 of which coming from a mixture of the jury and the televote, and the second round seeing just one song being saved from purely just from the televote. So for the first 5 that managed to qualify, it was Josh, Jessica Pina, Blue Eye, Margarida Campello, and Marco Rodrigues. And then Peculiar managed to qualify in the second round of voting, which was just purely televote. So we'll have another 10 songs as well, making that into the second semi-final next week, all of whom will be hoping to secure a spot in the final, which will be taking place again on the 8th of March in Lisbon. And of course, we also have another selection taking place as well, and that is Germany, which is Chefsache ESC Wer singt für Deutschland. The last couple of times we have seen, just kind of covers taking place, but this time around, the semi-final took place and we got to hear all of the potential songs that could go to Eurovision, of which 9 have now been selected for the final, which will take place on the 1st of March. And these acts that have managed to make it through to the final are Feuerschwanz, Benjamin Bratz, Cosby, Arbor and Tina, Leonora, Julika, Lisa, Moschina, and the Great Leslie. So one of these acts will represent Germany at Eurovision 2025. Which one will it be? I guess we'll find out next week when the German public has their say. And then also, just to kind of round things out for everything that's been going on Saturday, was the first semi-final of Una Voce per San Marino, the San Marino Song Contest, whatever you want to call it. And this was the first semi-final. There are going to be semi-finals that are going to be held pretty much every day now until the 28th of February. And 36 acts competing in each semi-final. And the first one took place, of which King Fu, which are Italian-Slovenian band, they managed to qualify directly to the final. And Il Solito Dandy, Carson Cola, and Ifem managed to qualify for the second chance round, which will be taking place just before the final. And yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see how else it comes through. We'll find out. We'll give you all the details obviously next week. So coming up next week, we have a good number of different selections taking place. Obviously, we have the San Marino semi-finals, like I was saying, but we also have Dora taking place, which is the Croatian national selection. They're hoping to capitalize on their second place, obviously with Baby Lasagna from last year. So that's going to be on the 27th and the 28th of February, with the final taking place on the 2nd of March. Pesma Eurodivision, which is Serbia's national selection, will be taking place a little bit earlier than expected. It was supposed to be the 25th, 27th and the 1st of March, but now this has been brought forward to the 25th, 26th and 28th of February. There's also been a little bit of drama with them because the host has decided to pull back from hosting as a result of RTS's coverage of protests that have been going on in Serbia as a result of sort of disasters that have been happening there in Novi Sad. So there could be a little bit extra drama just to kind of sprinkle in on top of all of the Eurovision drama. Claude's Eurovision song for the Netherlands will also be released as well on the 27th of February, so be prepared for that. We don't necessarily know what it's going to be called, so be prepared if you are a big fan of Claude. And of course, like I said, Australia's Eurovision song will be coming out on Tuesday. So obviously, there's been quite a lot of Eurovision news that's been going on. and national final season is definitely ramping up. We're getting to the big crescendo now before we get into pre-party season. So yeah, let us know what you think. What did we miss anything? Please do let us know down below. Please do like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so it just helps us with a little bit more with our chance of getting to Basel. Please do follow us on all of our social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, and Tumblr, all at that Eurosite. That Eurosionsite.com is also where all of the news will be for if you want to check out any of the articles that we've just talked about here. And yeah, can't wait to see what the rest of national final season is going to bring to us. So yeah, see you later.